Good morning.
Good morning. You guys don't get to see it, but I get to see Rose dancing.
It's bad. It's very bad.
No, it's awesome. All right. Good morning and welcome everyone to the Dark Roast. I am Dawna Stroll and I'm here with the always lovely and talented Rose Short. And today's topic for the Dark Roast is basically how to blog smarter, not harder, by repurposing and monetizing without selling your soul. Now, last week we talked about evergreen content and how to monetize that. So this is sort of an extension of that and how to take that evergreen content that we taught you how to do and how to repurpose it, because we did discuss a little bit of that last week. So we thought, why not take that and build out on that so that you guys can make the most out of that content that you're creating, and not have to reinvent the wheel in order to do it.
Yeah, we've talked before about how to add affiliate links and stuff into your blog if you're already blogging. So this is kind of caveating off of that a little bit as well, but also just how to really optimize your SEO. So maybe you don't want to do affiliate links, maybe you don't want to do digital marketing, but you do want to make more money from your blog. That's kind of more what we're going into today.
Yeah. So, I mean, bottom line, why does it matter, right? So 70% of your marketers say that SEO is more effective than pay-per-click for driving sales in the long term, which makes sense, right? Because that's what's going to be coming up when people are searching. Your SEO, if it's properly done, is what's going to pop it up in front of people who are looking for the information that you're trying to provide. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, and over 60% of marketers repurpose content at least 2 to 5 times to maximize the ROI, which is pretty awesome and makes it a lot easier, right? It simplifies your content strategy when you know you can just repurpose some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you're creating it anyways, right? You might as well get the most out of it, right? You don't build a chair to sit in it once.
Right.
Evergreen posts drive over 38%, so almost 40% of your traffic to high performing blogs, right? So that's, again, utilizing that evergreen content to direct people into the different areas and not necessarily your affiliate links. It could be to other posts that do have your affiliate links or your business information, whatever that business is. So,
yeah. And this is also where you can start blogging for other businesses if you're really good at this and getting paid to do that as well, which is super
yeah.
cool. But you should always, as with everything, right, start with the end in mind. Strategy is everything. Posting, blogging, any of this without strategy, you might get lucky, but you're probably going to find that you're really not growing, right? So know your core intent. Like, what are you trying to get? Are you trying to get sales? Are you trying to get signups? Are you trying to direct them to a website? Are you just authority building and just want to set yourself up as the expert, right? All of these things become how you really build that article or that blog post or anything like that. And you want it timeless. Like we talked about evergreen before, you want it to be ever relevant, something that the audience in whatever niche you're in is going to be continually looking for. Don't trend chase when you're doing this. This isn't the like, oh, this song's popular on TikTok, so let's go make it theme. This has been a problem every year in this niche, and so I'm going to make it. You can date it like my timeless strategies for 2024, and then you basically repurpose it, maybe change a few words, and then it becomes your timeless strategies for 2025, right? That's how you repurpose and how it grows. So those things, like that aha moment, basically points out and solves the problem, and that's what you want. Like, think about it as you searching for it at 2:00 in the morning because you can't sleep. Like, what are you going to search, and then how do you put your SEO behind that?
And it's probably not, do penguins have knees? Although that is a very important question. The answer is yes. So you want to build out your post like with the idea of repurposing in mind, right? You want to use clear headers and bullet points and short paragraphs because that will make it easier to chop it up, to utilize it as a social media post or to build a reel around, because you can have sections and then you can do your videos or your reels or your posts on each section, or even pieces within that section, if you can break it down. Sometimes you may only want to do a small, like one sentence kind of, or two sentence kind of thing. By using clear headers and bullet points, it makes it really easy to do that and to repurpose it that way. You want a summary box, or key takeaways in your blog post, because then again, you can use that for reels. You're doing a summary, and like if you want more information, you can move them right back to your blog post where maybe you have more in-depth information and links that they can follow. So you're not actually selling, you're sending them over to a blog post that then does some of that monetization for you. So you're doing two things at once. You're building your presence, you've repurposed the content. Now you're saying you're circling them back. You're getting that presence both on your social media and on your blogs, and you're giving them those links to wherever you want them to go, which, boom, that's a whole lot of things that you can do.
Oh
Add
yeah.
notable moments in and stats in bold. So if you're going to be using statistics or whatever, do that in bold, so that you can either tweet it or use threads or something like that later, where you can just put that little bit of information. And again, you can link it back, make it all reciprocal. That's the one thing about repurposing. It's really nice if you can make it reciprocal.
Hmm.
And now, the easiest way to do this is if you're going to be writing a blog, use those Google Docs. We say Google Docs just because it's simple. It's, you can access it from anywhere, but I don't care if you use, whatever, Word or Open, doesn't really matter. You start a document with sections that sort of breaks it down. So you write out your blog, but create it in sections so that you can actually pull that information easily every time you want to write a post. So you can have like your bullets, your quotes, and everything else, and have it laid out. So basically, you're creating your outline, and you're filling that outline, and you know that these are the places that you can go to take and repurpose that information.
Yeah.
Simple.
Love it. And breaking it up that way too makes it easier for speed readers, right? Or like people who don't have a lot of time, they can kind of scan through. Whereas if it's all just one paragraph, any speed reader is going to look at that and go, nope, because
Yeah,
it's too much to look at.
no one wants giant chunks. It's whether they're on social media or reading your blog, giant chunks make people's eyes glaze over. And if you don't believe so, talk to anybody who's tried to read a philosophy book.
Yep.
It's like, what did they say? You lost me. It's like a 5-year-old telling you a very important story.
It's a very good way of explaining it. And then, of course, if you are going to use a relevant keyword, affiliate links in this kind of context, content is actually the word I was looking for. Sorry. Be the good guy. Don't be the skeezy guy, right? So only promote them if they are relevant to what you're talking about. And again, if they're evergreen, something like software that you use, again, if that software changes, can easily be that link can easily be changed out. But let them know, right? Use trust language. Like, heads up, this link earns me a small commission, but I only recommend tools that I actually love. Clicking this link, I will get a small commission at no extra cost to you, whatever it looks like, just so that, it can't come back later and be like, oh, well, I didn't know. And, again, commissions never cost extra to the customer, but the customer doesn't always know that. So it's always just good to state it up front.
Yeah, and because they might think that they have to pay an extra charge for whatever they're doing, especially if they're not versed in the idea of what affiliate marketing actually is. So it's just a way to make them feel more confident and just say, yeah, I make a little bit of money on the side, but not from you. I make it from the
Yeah.
company. You know,
Yeah.
you just help promote that for me. That's all, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're just helping me because I already promote it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that can also be done as a simple disclosure at the end, right? So if you're going to have multiple links, or if you typically do have some kind of affiliate link in your content, you can do an auto save kind of thing, right? Where it's just a disclosure of, any link that you click could potentially lead to me making a commission at no extra charge, whatever. It's just, again, it builds that authority and that trust because you're not trying to get one over on them.
Yeah. And it makes it, you can do stars, like if maybe particular links are actually, affiliate links, or you might get a commission or whatever, then you can put an asterisk next to it. And then at the bottom, you can say anything marked with an asterisk. It's a simple way to do it. You can do it at the beginning, at the end, if you really want to be, upfront about all of it. It just depends on how you want to do it, as long as the information's there. Um, and you want to make it, like we said, repurpose ready. So you turn your FAQs into Instagram or Pinterest carousels, because you can do carousels on Pinterest now, which is just bonkers to me. Or you can do it as a LinkedIn post, especially if you're dealing with software as a service, or maybe you're a virtual assistant or something, or a social media manager or something like that, where you're having your own thing. This is a way that you can utilize LinkedIn, because that might be a better place for you. But you're going to turn those into carousels and, informations. Use your post headlines, subject lines, in your emails. If you're going to build that blog out, and you've got to, you really want to make sure that your title is good, then use that, right? Or if you've got like a section header that's really important, you can utilize that title of that section header and then build out your emails. I can barely hear them.
Okay, good.
You could turn your list into audio reels, which is another one. So you can do that for like TikTok, or your stories on Facebook or Instagram. You can just, or reels on either of those programs. So, that's like, your top 5 ways to reuse your blog.
Right? We can
And you
make a
can
reel out
create
of
simple
this.
lists. And then you can also have a link again back, or you can point people back to your blog, where you flesh that out and say, you want more information, check it out here, and so on and so forth. So it's really simple. So every time you publish a blog, you want to at least try to create a content repurposing checklist with at least 3 things on it, so that at least with every blog that you're creating, or every long piece of content that you're creating, whether it's a YouTube, although you can also repurpose your blog post into a YouTube, or vice versa.
Yep.
Right? You can do that. So at least 3 other formats. And then that way you've got it going on all over the place, and you only created one piece of content to begin with, and then you're just taking that and turning it into other things.
Yeah. And then, like kind of mentioned earlier too, like update it, right? Do not forget to update it. Updating again refreshes it, brings it back to the feed, gives it some new life. You can do a quarterly reminder, is it 6 months, 1 year, whatever you want it to look like. You can update your stats, right? Because we're constantly getting new studies and whatnot. Add a new tip, maybe change up your call to action. Any tiny update can really boost the SEO. And it could be as simple as changing one word and suddenly it's in front of thousands versus not getting any traction whatsoever, right? We've seen it with reels all the time.
Yeah.
So, you can add like a updated on blurb too, so that people know that, it's been been updated lately, because maybe Google shows the original posting date as 2020, but then if they go to it, it says updated, March 3rd, 2025, then they're going to at least know that, okay, not only are you putting this out here, but you're actually going back and you're actually checking and actually making sure it's relevant. And so now this has more credibility, because I know that it could apply to me today versus, being relevant 20 years ago or 5 years ago, because trends change,
Yeah.
information changes, like, our habits change drastically with social media and the internet and everything else. So just being able to put that there, one, tells you when you last updated it, but two, really builds that trust.
Exactly. And keep a little spreadsheet, of, you can either do it in a Word doc, or, some form of spreadsheet. Just when you put a blog up, just what it is, the date, and when you need to go back and check on it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be super challenging or difficult to do that. Keep it as simple as you need in order to make it work for you. And then that way you can just go in, once a month and check, okay, oh, I need to make these changes on this particular blog. Or just review it. That's super simple, and a great way to stay on top of your blogs without feeling overwhelmed by them.
Yeah,
you
especially if
know?
you put the link to the post right in that document.
Yeah.
That just makes it so much easier because there's been multiple times where I've looked at something and I'm like, where did I publish that though? Like, where is that, right? And so if you do the link to it, you don't have to do that. You just go, okay, click on this one now. What do I have to update? Cool. It just makes
Yeah.
it a lot easier.
Oh yeah. Always working always in mind with how to make things as simple for yourself going forward, because yeah, things get complicated and then we go, oh, I don't wanna, right? I mean, some
Yep.
people thrive in complications, I'm not gonna lie, but most of us are not those people. um, Even when we want to be those people. So, SEO and the human factor, together, those are the things that are really going to help you. So, you want to use natural keywords that align with how real people talk. So, AI is great to help you get a structure, but don't have it writing everything for you if you can get away from it, uh, because you want to make sure that you're adding in that natural, human touch to it. So it might provide you the outline, but it's your job to go in and make it personal and make it real, because people can see through it. And I mean, unfairly, like a lot of my author friends are really annoyed that AI has now taken over the EM dash. It's like, just because there's an EM dash and it doesn't mean it's made from AI, right? I like my and I understand that there are words that got sort of scooped up by AI that really suck because I used to use them and now I have to go, okay, are you going to assume that I'm, AI because of it? So it's important to use your natural keywords. It's important to make sure that you are, really reviewing what it is that you're putting out there and making it, giving it that human touch. Answer the questions is another one. If people come on and they do leave a question on your blog or they leave a comment, respond. I mean, that's important because you can always, that's a good way to make sure that there's content. And if you don't know what to write, you can go to, like, people also ask, like, say you put a question in, right? Well, I think people are asking about this. It can, if you go to Google people also ask, it will show you all the questions surrounding that and the weight that they have, like how often they're asking these other questions that maybe is more relevant, which will allow you to build out a blog and then break that down and repurpose it. So, and then, like you had mentioned earlier, make it scannable. And that's where your bullet points and your headlines and all those things come in place, because it's really easy for people to review it, look it over, find the information that's important to them instead of getting bogged down and slogging through giant paragraphs of information. It might be valuable information, but if it's a block, no one's going to read it. It's just not.
Yeah. Not gonna happen. And then all of this takes time, right? Like you build your trust over time. Like, how do you do that, right? Be generous with your value, give more than you ask for. And this is where we talked about, not every post needs a link, not every email needs a sales call to action, not, you can just give information to give information. You can tell the story just for the sake of telling the story. It's fine. But as you're telling your stories and whatnot, use a consistent voice that sounds like a real person, not you trying to be a business person, right? If you're a happy-go-lucky flower child, don't try to sound like a uptight CEO. It's probably not going to work, and you're going to hate writing. So, and like, if you're going to use two different tones depending on what you're talking about, then at least tag them differently, right? Like, you might have a really businessy, like, this is just the facts tone, and then if you're telling more of a personal story, tag that as a journal versus a business post kind of thing. Like, there are ways to do it, but realistically, you should be consistent all throughout your content, and that includes repurposing for your Facebook, your LinkedIn, right? Like, don't yeah. My sister used to say, I love the internet because I can be whoever I want to be, right? But I think we're kind of past that time. I mean, maybe it's coming back with AI, but I think we're kind of past that time where nobody wants the fake nonsense. We all know that a lot of the Instagram posts are fake, right? We all know the influencers are using really good editing and whatnot to make it look better than it is. So
Yeah.
being real, being yourself, and being consistently yourself is hands on the best. Yeah, you're going to get trolled. You're going to get attacked by people who don't like you. But guess what? In the real world, not everyone likes you. So why would you expect everyone to like you on the internet, right?
Yeah. And those people are generally, they just want to create some chaos because that's how they get their views and how they get their, they've decided to take the confrontational way to do their views. And it's very rarely, almost never about you unless you're being a complete D-bag, in which case you
Right.
might get called out. But generally
Yeah.
speaking, if somebody decides to harass you just because they don't like the way you look, it's not about you. It's about them trying to just, stir the pot and be a dick. That's it.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And then of course you could also offer a next step instead of a hard sell, right? Like if this content resonated with you, like keep an eye open for my next blog where I go deeper into this issue or something like that. So soft CTAs like that are absolutely fine. It gets you more subscribers, but also you're still giving that beneficial information and that knowledge share. And then if you're on blog sites that do like Medium, for example, like you can clap. Not many people know that you can clap up to 50 times,
Yeah.
right? So you can put that in there too of like, hey, showing engagement in this way really helps me out. So, can you do that? It's completely fine asking for a CTA like that because, again, some people just don't know.
Yeah. Drop a like, share, all
Yeah.
those kinds of things. Why do you think most YouTubes and posts, drop comment, all those kinds of things? Those are CTAs, and people ask for them because that engagement matters, and it is also helpful, right? If you ask for those kinds of things, you can see where people will actually respond. And if it's drop a comment and they actually leave comments, they have questions or something like that, it's a great way to build that engagement and also, you know, um, build that human touch again, right?
Mhm.
So, so things that you don't want to do. I mean, we talk a lot about what you do want to do. So things you don't want to do is you don't want to keyword stuff. I mean, that was a huge thing back in like 2010, but we're not there anymore. We've moved on from that. And I know that like for a long time, for a while there with TikTok, it was like put your keywords and then slide them off the edge and stuff like that, which sounds really cool. But, it's just like websites used to have, you'd write words in invisible ink and then hide them or put them in and, you know, you can't do
Mhm.
that either. You're not allowed to. And you will actually get penalized. I don't think people realize that when you start stuffing like that, what you do is you do end up getting penalized by the platforms that you're using.
Mhm.
And they won't show your stuff because it's not relevant, right? It's not relevant, or it's just bad faith practice. So don't do that. And don't promote like 10, 15 things in one post. Pick one or two winners. Even if you have a whole list of things that you use, the tools I use, that's a resource page, right? That's not a blog post. That's a resource page. Um, but in a blog post, maybe you're going to review some software, a website, or an editing service. And then you're going to go through and you're going to talk about a lot of them. One of them is going to be maybe one that you use, or two of them is going to be something that you use. And you can put those on there, but just that, with just links for that are affiliate. You can have information about all the other ones, and you can have links to them, but not affiliate links, right? And make it consistent. Don't, here's where I buy my cookware, and also this is my editing software. No.
I mean, unless your channel is about how to be a cook and make food look really good for, video, in which case that makes sense. But that's a
Yes.
very, very customized niche.
Yeah. And then this one is something that I know that you've had it, I've done it. Don't forget to test your links. When you're setting up your blogs, when you're setting up your social media, whatever it is that you're, repurposing and stuff like that, check your links. Broken links go nowhere, and people don't trust you because, I mean, you automatically, when you go to click a link and it doesn't work and it's like, amateur hour, and you may not consciously think that, but subconsciously you're thinking it, right? And then
Or
you just
scam.
trust it. Yep, that too. Like, did I just get fished? Right?
Hmm.
That kind of shit. So make sure that you're testing your links. And don't bait and switch, right? Don't tell them you're going to talk about one thing and then you've got something completely different, or tell them that it's only, $5, but then when they get there, it's $5 for like nothing, and then $500 for what you actually talked about. That's irritating as
Oh yeah,
so.
and we both been there.
Yeah. If your honesty will get you the people you want. Yes, you want people to walk in the door, but honestly, if you can't be upfront with what they're getting, then they're just going to walk right back out that door, and then they're going to tell people, yeah, no, they're full of crap. So,
Hmm. Or they will pay for it and be even more upset when it's not exactly what they wanted, and then
yeah,
eventually you're gonna get in a lot of trouble.
yeah. Or you're just not going to make any money. You
Yeah,
might make a quick buck, but then you'll not make anything else because you haven't earned their trust. You've
yeah,
earned their distrust by doing stuff like that. So,
yeah,
I think that's it.
yeah. Pretty much. I mean, it's all pretty basic. It's just
Hmm.
it does take some planning out.
Yeah. And then there are tools out there to help you once you've broken it down for that repurposing. There's lots of different platforms you can use. What? Metricool, you use Repurpose. If you use Go High Level, they have a repurposing thing there. Lots of platforms have it. What's another one? Hootsuite is another one that has it. You can do quite a few.
Yeah,
So there's lots of different ways that you can repurpose that content without having to, you know, oh, I got to post this here and then I got to post this there and then I got to post it. Oh, no, you can actually do it from one spot. But that's a platform. So and you can look into that and you literally can just search like repurposing, content repurposing platform, something like that, and you'll find what you're looking for. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I know that you are big on just Is it Repurpose.io?
Yeah, Repurpose IO. I love it because you can do it manually or auto, so you can go in and customize your SEO for whichever platform it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I just use the auto because it's just easier for me. Now, I'm not doing what we talk about. I'm not SEO optimizing when I'm doing that. I will be fully transparent. Um, but I have my reasons for doing that right now. Now, as I move forward and need to get more SEO specific, I'll probably switch it from manual to auto or auto to manual.
Yeah.
But it at least still already has it there, so I don't have to go back in and re-edit the cuts and re-edit the songs and remember to download it on my phone or anything like that. So it just makes it a whole lot simpler in that sense.
Yeah, that's cool. I like Metricool because I find their freemium version shockingly good. Um, so that's, you get a lot for free, and then upgrading is actually not that bad.
Mhm.
But it is much more manual. It's not an auto thing. So you can, but it tells you all your times of days and everything else for each platform, and then allows you to schedule for each, and you can schedule for your website and your blogs and your social medias and everything all in one place, which I like. So,
Yeah, it's awesome.
yeah. All right. So next week,
Yes. Sorry, I'm excited for this one.
oh, go for it then.
So next week we're going to talk about how to use CRMs, which are customer resource management systems, to really manage your affiliate relationships effectively. And I think CRM is a word that like people hear but don't really think about what it is or how it can be properly utilized. And so we're going to dive into it.
It's exciting. All right. So then that's it. That's all. Stay caffeinated, my friends.
Yes, drop any questions, share this with anybody who might have liked it, etc., etc.
If you found this helpful, please drop a comment, share, and hit that subscribe button. Your feedback is super helpful in growing this channel.
And of course, if you have any questions or if there's any specific thing that you would like us to talk about, drop that in the comments too. Happy Friday!
Happy Friday, everyone.